Hey everybody, we are recording live here at H2O studio here in downtown Watertown. It is approximately 9 degrees outside. The whole country is on shutdown essentially because of the bad weather, including our friends in Texas, where the wind turbines are literally frozen. A lot of people aren't getting electricity as a result of this unbelievable weather. But you know what? There's someone who lives in central New York who's also my business partner here at H2O Studios that knows a lot about the weather, and this is really no big deal for us, but look what's going on with the deep freeze in mid America, Josh Kearney.
I do know a lot about the weather. I know that, as they say, Susan complained and it rained, and everybody's got something they want to fix or piss and moan about.
Hmm.
It's a perfect platform. Now, I'm going to tell you, I have colleagues in Texas right now that
Right.
are really, really winding it up. And I think it's hilarious because, here where we are in the North Country and Central New York,
Hmm.
I mean, this is a Tuesday, not a
Not
big
a bad.
storm, right?
Mhm.
So, but it does say a lot. I mean, when people's lives are interrupted by something, and that it makes them realize and be thankful for what they love. Now, just a moment ago, you asked me about my suit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Check it out. I've got a great story about this if you want to hear it. If you guys are willing to listen. So I
Yeah,
was at,
it's. I have to say, the color of the suit is. I don't know if that's a navy blue. What kind of blue
it's
is that?
it's blue. Yeah, it's a sport jacket. Now,
Yeah,
I'm gonna try not to slouch forward here because of the way the
right.
chair is. I'll just sit up like this, like really stiff.
You got to sit on your tails. That's what they taught you in the movie Broadcast News with Jeff Daniels. You got to sit on your tail.
Jeff Daniels, isn't that the one where he cried and then they had the huge
yeah, very good. Yeah,
the
with Holly
thing?
Hunter.
It was,
Yeah,
and I remember asking because I was only like 8 or 9 when that came out. I asked my
right,
mom, like, why are they giving such a hard time? She's like, oh, because he faked crying. I'm like, oh, well, I guess we'll leave it
right.
there.
And
So,
right, the one guy asked how many cameras were present. They said one. Oh, okay, and that revealed a lot. Go ahead. What about the suit?
so it's a good. I work very closely, and my consultant and mentor is Scott McFall, and we were in Los Angeles, not really Los Angeles proper. We were in Burbank. We were working in Burbank. I was assisting him in the training, and I was staying in West Hollywood. We were going to Hollywood to go to the Magic Castle. Do you know? Are you
Mhm.
familiar with the Magic Castle?
Is that Disney?
Not at all. It's really cool. It's a private club in Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's an actual castle that was built in the 1910s, 19
Right.
teens,
Hmm.
and it was taken over by a group of magicians. So it's the most exclusive magicians group in North America.
Hmm.
And the last president was Neil Patrick Harris. Orson Welles used to be the president. And you have to test to get in, and you can't enter the Magic Castle unless you're a guest,
Hmm.
right? So you have to be a guest in order to attend. And when you walk in, there's like really big, mean-looking security guards, right? But they take your name, and if you're of course you're with a guest, you have to dress in a shirt and tie, a suit and tie, and women have to wear cocktail dresses. No one else is. It's always a dress code. No one else is allowed in. Once you get in, there's like 8 magic venues, close magic, big stages, great dinner theater. Right,
Hmm.
it's the neatest place. So, anyways, I actually got invited to go.
Hmm.
I was shocked. I was at lunch, and he called me up and he's like, "Hey, do you have a jacket and tie with you?" And I was like, "No."
Hmm.
And he's like, "Well, go get one. You got 20 minutes to get back here."
Wow.
So I went to Burlington Coat Factory,
Huh.
right?
Yeah.
And right there in Burbank, California. And I got this for $8. And I
What?
got this tie for 4. But I mean, I had my wallet on me, of course, but I wanted to run in there and I just grabbed things, right?
Right,
Oh, that
right,
looks like it fits. Um, and then, in the end, I was nervous. I've never been to this private club before.
right.
When you pull up, there's actually like a red carpet where people take photos of you because there's so many famous people that go there.
Hmm.
And there's a photo. I do have a photo of myself in Los Angeles at the Magic Castle with a backdrop. They have the press backdrops and it says
Right,
Magic Castle.
right. Like they do at the Oscars.
Yeah. And
Let
when
me
you
ask
go
you.
in, there's a
Yeah.
vestibule, and they say, okay, so if you know how to go in, you can go in. And Scott knew how to go in because he's been a member since he was 19, since the early 80s.
Yeah.
And you just walk up to a certain bookcase in this vestibule, and you tap it once or twice, and you say, "Open Sesame." And it opens like a huge set of double doors, and it reveals this entire setting of this really old rustic castle with like really nice. And everywhere you go, there are people performing magic, like close-up magic card tricks.
Right.
This one guy did a trick with a $100 bill that I didn't give mine, but that I'd never seen before. That was just like insanely like neat and accurate and fun. Um, I met I met Jeff McBride that day. That day I
Hmm.
went in. Jeff McBride won America's Got Talent 3 or 4 years ago, I think.
Wow.
He's like the premier magician in Vegas right now. He does a lot of close up magic, a lot of theatrical magic. He wears a lot of masks when he does his cups and balls. Have you ever seen cups and balls?
Wow.
So that's the story behind this jacket and tie. The shirt, however, is from Brooks Brothers because that's where I get all my shirts. So
yeah,
go ahead.
$8. Why $8?
I don't know why. It was on the rack and
$8. It looks like a $100, at least $100 jacket.
Well, it looks great on camera. Thank you.
No, it looks really nice.
But it's not like it's something I wear every day. Every day I wear a jacket. And,
yeah, you do.
That's it. It's always served me well. And I got my tie class for Valentine's Day from my
that's cool
sweetheart. Yeah.
Happy belated to say. Now let me ask the question: Eyes Wide Shut. Is that what that castle is all about? Is it similar to that, like a cult?
It's not that similar to that, but you can see the influence. I mean, the people aren't as influential. Like, it's not a necessity that you're a power broker to go to the Magic Castle, but you do have to be good at magic. So you have to try out. You have to have your best routine, and they have like a board of directors, and you go in there by yourself and you perform your magic, and they either accept you or they give you the thumbs down. And there are very famous magicians that are famous actors. I mean, like I said, mentioned Orson Welles and Neil Patrick Harris, but there's been a few others.
Right.
It's not like all the presidents aren't, the acting presidents aren't Hollywood stars, but it happens to be right in Hollywood.
Right.
Like, it's such a fixture in Hollywood. Like, you've probably seen it in movies before and just didn't realize it. Just looks this big. It's got to be 10 or 12,000 square feet.
Was that Wayne Manson, the Wayne Mansion on the original Batman series?
No,
I mean, famous
the original. It might be.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's awfully cool.
Yeah.
They have so many different like stages and venues. I don't know if I'm even supposed to be talking about it, but I'm going to do it.
Oh boy, you might be in trouble. Someone's going to come down on you. Jeepers creepers.
The thing is that day I was discussing mentalism. This is a tough one. Mentalism with Scott. And I was going to do a mentalist trick on YouTube that I saw performed before when Darren Brown actually baffled a half a dozen grandmasters in chess by beating them. And there's a certain trick that he used. He said, "Why'd you want to do that? It's already been done." I'm like, probably.
Right.
But the thing with all these tricks is, as with magic, there's one person at least that already knows the outcome, right? And I mean, I'm not going to give any speculation here because I don't want to ruin anything for anybody. Well, some people I do want to ruin things for because it would do them well, right? But the reason, the conversation I remember distinctly that night, we were in traffic and it was a straight shot from Burbank up to the Magic Castle. Like there's one road it escapes me because the house I was renting was actually on Airbnb was actually right off the main drag, and it was a 8-minute drive to the hotel where we were training, and then the same road you get on it. It was another 15 or 20 minutes north to Hollywood. And I was talking to him, and he was talking to me about really investing a lot of time. At the time, that was the last time, but the time I was investing a lot of my personal time in spectator sports, which is a grandiose waste of time if you're not benefiting from it.
Right.
And he was talking to me about mentalism and television and performance and how most things, almost nothing would ever make it onto the television if the outcome wasn't predetermined. Because the only way to really benefit from anything is if you know what the actual outcome is going to be. And that just blew my mind. We didn't talk for 10 minutes after he said that to me. And then I was thinking about certain things and I can only speculate because I don't have any insider information, but I do know I don't spend any time on watching TV and watching sports. I mean, I'll occasionally watch a baseball game with my son, but now that they have condensed baseball games, I can watch a baseball game in 22 minutes instead of 4.5 hours, right?
Right, sure.
So the only sports that I really watch have to do with my own children.
Well,
but anyway, spectator sports tend to be a waste of time, and there's a lot of other things that we could do that could be more beneficial. I tend to think that, I mean, I might be wrong here, but I tend to think that national and international politics are spectator sports as well.
Oh, without a doubt. And amazingly enough, look how many politicians rely on media outlets to get their word, to propagate their word and their message. And it leads me to believe that media might actually be bigger than public officials because they rely on it so much.
Oh, I would agree.
And I can't stand how some of the pundits, including Sean Hannity, just they treat like senators with such disrespect when they're talking to them, and they kind of like blow them off and go on to the next level. Tucker Carlson, by the way, doesn't do that. He waits until they say thank you and then he moves on. But nonetheless, yes, whoever is, I believe the media is wagging the nation's tail in more ways than we can imagine. Not just on the liberal side of things, but just pundits in general. They're more important, it seems, than actual politicians, which is very scary. All right, so
one of the things I like about Tucker, if I may, like about Tucker Carlson, he used to be next door neighbors with Al Sharpton.
Wow. Wait, in New York?
Oh no, it was in Florida. It was years ago. What happened was he talked openly about this, and I don't know if you can talk openly about this kind of stuff either. And I like to stay away from things too controversial. But what he said once, what Tucker said was that Al Sharpton was one of the most brilliant businessmen that he ever met, and what he and another gentleman who happened to be African American would do, another well-known African American would. Their main source of income for years was going from corporation to corporation and claiming that corporation was doing something that was racist and asking for money so they wouldn't blow them up on the news. Sure. So they were extorting American and international corporations in the name of race relations.
Well, that seems to be, because a lot of people, including Tucker Carlson, would refer to someone like Al Sharpton as a demigod, someone who was instigating everything, and they've been hinging on race relations for a long time. He's made a very good living on it. Plus, he doesn't pay his taxes. He owes a lot of money in taxes, back taxes, plus rent to the Empire State Building when he was renting that during 9/11. He said, "Oh, it's too dangerous," so he left and he just gave up on his lease. He got away with that, of course, because that's the way it is these days. Hunter Biden can get away with a lot of things, but the Trump sons could never get away with things. So the thing is
that I think it's funny, and it really speaks a lot to what you're talking about, that they would be having barbecues on Sunday, even with their supposed opposing viewpoints on life, but they were that close. You want to talk about the media wagging the tail or wagging the dog?
I could just imagine that Tucker Carlson hanging out with Al Sharpton. I can't see that. That's like Martha Stewart hanging out with Snoop Dogg. Oh, wait, actually, that happens.
That does happen.
All right.
It's funny that, do you know that Chris, when she roasted, who did she roast? She was was it Snoop Dogg's roast? Chris Rock wrote her shtick. Chris Rock wrote her entire.
He did, and it was fun. I forget who it was for.
Hilarious. She made fun of Kevin Hart the most. I think it was Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
I go back to the roasts when you were young. You might not have remembered them, the Dean Martin roasts. So those were brutal in themselves. And if you watch them today, they're incredibly politically incorrect.
What's his name? The guy just died.
Don Rickles.
Don Rickles is the best.
Yeah. So Big K-back. Why are you even here? It didn't matter what
Did ever see the clip from when they were making Casino? And he's behind the bar, and he goes, "Oh my God. Do you ever learn your lines? You with a method accent, the breathing, just say your fucking lines. Let's get out of here." Right?
Right.
I love it.
Yeah, no, he was awesome. He was. But again, it was a little bit hard to watch these days, knowing how far we've come. Listen, I'm actually going to be doing a recording for our client, Jake's new restaurant. So I'm getting my old radio friend up here, Jason Eves, otherwise known as Oz. He's going to come into the studio to lay down some audio right now. He's outside, so I got to get him. But before we go, one last thing from Josh Kearney, the partner in crime here with H2O Studios, high above the public square. You must do a Michael Douglas impersonation.
I don't think I can do it on command.
Oh, really? You know man's puppet? Is that the deal?
That's true. I do. I do Christopher Walken as well.
Do you really?
And I do Meatwad. And I do Meatwad from the Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh, I don't know that person. All right,
I will show you if you'd like.
Go ahead.
And, Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. I can see that. I can see you doing a Bill Cosby voice or face.
I really want to do Dennis Hopper. That's the one we're working on right now at home.
Dennis Hopper. From what movie? Just curious.
Just him. He's always a goof.
Yeah.
Maybe a little Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah, Harry Dean Stanton. I got him mixed up, actually.
Dennis Hopper's more entertaining. Harry Dean Stanton always does weird stuff.
Yeah. No, Harry Dean Stanton, the last thing I saw him in was Big Love.
You know what? Yeah. But when they couldn't get the movie produced, hey, why don't you bring the guy in and we'll record with him? We'll just pause it and
okay. Let me see how I can. How do we pause this? Does anyone know? I think I have to end it. All right, listen. I tell you what. Let's end this broadcast and we'll come back with Jason Eves in a little bit. Okay.
Excellent. Okay.
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna mute his mic. I'm gonna go straight with exclusive with me right now. And yes, that was a conversation with myself, of course, and Josh Kearney here at H2O Studios. We hope you enjoyed it, and we're going to end the broadcast right now, and we'll post this for others to see. I'm sure you'll love it. And thanks for watching.